Hello everybody, I'm Scott Weaver and welcome back to the RHI Day of Giving. We're here at the noon hour with another patient to introduce you to and a story to tell. Just to tell you about myself real quick, again my name is Scott Weaver. I've been involved with both the foundation and the hospital for 15 years now. I started out working with the adaptive ski clinic, which is held, now they hold it twice a year, but it held each year up on Lake Morris. And I started out as a jumper swimmer, helping sports people who had fallen off of skis or whatnot. Graduated my way up to the coveted job of boat driver, because you don't have to get in the water anymore. I did that for many years, and from that I joined the board of the foundation. I'm the immediate past chairman of the foundation, and I also serve on the hospital board of directors. And I'm here today with Mike Werking. Mike, welcome.
Thank you.
Mike's from Newcastle, Indiana, where I have family that was born, so we were talking about that early. And Mike's going to share a story of all the stories that I can think of hearing, different ways people end up coming to RHI through accidents and strokes and some of the folks that you've probably heard their stories today. Mike has a very unique story because it's something that's probably happens 1 in a million times.
I think the syndrome is 1 in 70,000.
1 in 70,000. So when Mike, I'll let you tell your story and tell us what happened and what brought you to RHI.
Okay, I was at work one day on a Monday morning, went into work and picked up a spool of wire and basically ruptured a disc. It's a syndrome. It turned it in, the swelling in the disc caused shrinkage in the spinal area. It was in the lower lumbar and ended up shrinking down so far that it cut the nerve endings. There's a nerve ending, it's called cauda equina. It's a horse's tail is what they call it. It's right at the bottom of the L4, L5 area where the nerves are no longer protected by the spinal cord. They're just kind of in a floating area where everything to the lower extremity comes. And it had cut it down so bad that I started losing feeling and numbness in the leg, in the lower extremities and the legs, to the point where early morning, it come to be where early in the morning I couldn't walk, couldn't stand on my own, and ended up at St. Vin's Hospital. And they did a surgery at St. Vin's to where I had a previous fusion. Well, they took the old fusion out, all the hardware for the old fusion out, and fused L2, 3, 4, and 5 all together, and put a cage in and created an expansion to keep the nerves from being pinched off so bad. And I was there about a week and was sent here for inpatient rehab. And inpatient rehab, this place is phenomenal. It's a type, if you want to get better, this is the place to be. If you're willing to put the work in, this is the place to be. If you want to lay around and do nothing, don't bother coming here. It's that simple. This place has been great to me and my family. As a matter of fact, while I was inpatient, my daughter has a golden doodle that is like a part of the family.
Sure.
And she was able to, they even have a program here to where once you get clearance to bring the dog in, you can bring the dog in. And then he was able to come in a couple of times while I was inpatient.
Good.
So.
Yeah, I asked you before when we were talking out front about your first day here, and you said that was your easiest by far, right?
By far. It was, I come in on a Friday, later in the afternoon on a Friday, and the Friday was just getting you in your room, getting acquainted and settled in. And then Saturday, it was funny, Saturday morning I had breakfast in the bed, and they said, they told me that Saturday afternoon at lunchtime, said we're gonna get you out of bed and roll you down to the common area where everybody else is at. And what's really neat about this place is there are so many different injuries and
Right.
different, you have different wards. I happen to be obviously in the spinal injury, and then you have your brain injuries, amputees, and stroke area. But I was in the spinal injury, and there were so many different injuries and different levels of injuries that when it first happens, if you're up and about on your own when it first happens, it's very uncomfortable. You feel very uncomfortable just not being able to walk. When you get out and you start seeing the levels that everybody else is at, the things that they're going through, it's like, yeah, that I'm a part of this.
Yeah.
And it's humbling, but it makes it so much easier to adapt to what you're going through when you see everybody else going through what they're going through.
Talk about that for a minute, if you will, because when I first met you, I asked you about adaptive sports, but you're going to be walking in times where you won't need that, right?
We're hoping. There's so many programs going on here. I get emails constantly about, obviously being summertime, you were talking about the skiing and things like that, but there's so many other things going on. I've gotten emails for basketball, soccer, all kinds of stuff. So you guys do a great job of providing things that people are active and something that tragic happens to them. There are things out there that you provide to help get them back and acclimated back into an active lifestyle.
Right.
You do a real good job with that. I live far enough away, it's hard for me to do some of that, but my focus right now, I'm so focused and determined to get back on my feet that I'm here twice a week for outpatient rehab. So I'm doing things at home that on my days that I'm not here that try to get me back up and running again.
Right.
Get a normal lifestyle again.
Right. And how's that going? Progressing pretty well, right?
Progressing really well. I think the first time that they have a device here called a Rifton that is walk assistance, and it's like, I call it the human engine hoist.
Yeah.
It helps support your body weight. I think the first time I did it, while I was inpatient or just come out of inpatient, maybe I did a total of 40 feet. The last time I did it without anything else, we had a couple of big growths over the last month. About a month ago I did it. I think I was up to 3,500 feet total, doing multiple laps around, we call it laps around the facility.
Right.
Here in the last couple of weeks we started adding weights to the ankles. I did probably 2,300 feet with 20-pound ankle weights.
Wow.
So
That's good.
that's what I mean by the intensity, that they will go as intense as you want to go here. If you're willing to put the work in, they're willing to help you do it.
And there's a common phrase they say around here that it's all about. What's it all about? The steps?
Oh, it's all about the steps. Yeah.
All about steps.
And that's the hard thing. When you go through a tragic injury or something tragic that changes your life this way, you got to understand. I'm used to being a former athlete. I'm used to being 3 to 4 months and being at least back to 70 or 80%, 90%. When you have an injury that requires you to be here, it's not like that. And we call it baby steps.
Yeah.
You got to take baby steps.
Yeah. So here's a guy, young, 50 years old, in the prime of his life, doing pretty good physical labor every day at work, right?
Yeah,
Picking up, how much did you say?
I
These
think
things weigh?
the spool of wire weighed up anywhere from 150 to 200 pounds.
Right, so in great shape. One small thing, I've never even heard of this, I have a hard time even pronouncing it, Kana iguana syndrome. So a freak accident, so to speak, but he was fortunate enough to find his way to RHI through St. Vincent's. You were here 3 weeks, right?
I was here just right at 3 weeks.
And he's well back on his way to being able to return to his lifestyle. So we thank you.
I thank
Look
you.
forward to watching your progress. And do you have anything to say to all the people out there who are considering donating money today?
If you plan on putting your money anywhere, my suggestion is put it somewhere where it's really going to help somebody, and this place helps somebody. It really does. There are so many needs for other people out there that are so unfortunate to have something that would be this tragic in your life, and the money is put well to use here. It really is.
And there you go. Thank you very much. We'll be back shortly with another great interview. Have a great day, and don't forget, give to RHI.